Hello again. Here is a simple question which I invite viewers to answer honestly. When they first heard a few days ago that a man had driven a car into a peaceful crowd of people celebrating a festival in the Canadian city of Vancouver, did they, if only for a moment, what's they guess about the perpetrator? Did they assume that the driver would be an ordinary Canadian with a name like Bill Smith? Or did they perhaps think that he might be somebody with a weird foreign name? Did they perhaps guess, when it became clear that this was a massacre, 11 people were killed, that the mental health of the suspect would soon become a topic of interest? I ask these questions genuinely because I find it difficult to believe that I was the only person whose mind worked along those lines. Perhaps only fanatical old racists think that way. What about the news that 3 people have been shot dead in the Swedish city of Uppsala? Can I take it for granted that we all know that both the shooter and the victims will be of Albanian origin? I have light-heartedly played a game here in the past which I called Guess the Ethnicity when certain crimes have been reported in Britain. You know, the sort of thing when the police urge people not to speculate on social media about the identity of the criminal. I discovered once I started talking about that on this channel that many people themselves play this amusing game in private. We are now seeing this business expand into a worldwide thing, with crimes thousands of miles away being obviously connected with immigration. Not merely Islam, you observe, but foreigners in general. Often the victims too are foreigners, and when some brutal massacre is carried out, we find that this has something to do with tensions and historic grievances among people who have their roots in another continent. They've brought these grudges or racial hatred with them to the country to which they have emigrated. In Vancouver, of course, the victims were Filipinos and Filipinas, and a man arrested for the crime of Far Eastern appearance with a name to match. In Sweden, the bombings and shootings are almost invariably linked to gang fights between Albanian and Kosovan families. In our own country, of course, stabbings and bombings are also associated with those of ethnicities different from our own. This does not, of course, mean that immigration is in and of itself a bad thing, but it does mean that countries in the West would be wise to consider closely who they're going to let in. Albanians are usually a bad idea, as are Algerians and Afghans. These groups all commit crimes at a vastly higher rate than the native population of Britain. If there is to be no halt in immigration, many people would actually prefer to be the chosen option, then at the very least it should prove possible to be a little selective about whom we allow to come and live in the country. It would be easy enough to guess which groups are likely to be hard-working and industrious, and which more likely to be badly behaved parasites.